Welcome back, my name is Stanislav, and today I'm going to talk to you about the four main reasons why you may have a problem with your cardio during Randori in your judo. But why should you listen to me? My name is Stas, I have 17 plus years of experience in judo since I've practiced the sport since I was like 7 and now I'm 24, and I'm also a physical therapist and future strength and conditioning coach. So here I found the four main reasons why you are gassing out during your Randori. Reason number one, you have poor conditioning. This is very easy, very simple to understand. Basically, you are doing a very intense activity, which is randori, grappling. Any form of grappling or wrestling involves a lot of physical qualities. One of these is conditioning, cardiovascular fitness. So you either have a poor aerobic base, which means that you need to do more zone 2 cardio, you need to do more cycling, you need to do more swimming, more running, not for the sake of becoming better at this specific activities, but to give a stimulus to your heart and lungs to become more efficient, to give oxygen and glucose to your muscles during your randori. Or you have poor aerobic power, so you might be enough conditioned, you might have done a lot of hours of zone 2 cardio, and you need to express more aerobic power, which means you have to improve your VO2 max, which is the maximum amount of oxygen that is produced in your body during a specific activity. So you need to do things like tabatas or 90% maximal cardio activity and full rest. So these are slightly different problems. You either have a poor aerobic base and you need to spend hours in the zone 2 cardio, or you need to improve your aerobic power, which means you have to increase your ability to use that oxygen in your body. The second reason why you're gassing out during randori is poor efficiency, which means you are maybe good, maybe have a good conditioning, but you are wasting too much energy without achieving a tangible result during your judo. By poor efficiency, I mean one of these three things. Number one, your techniques are not optimized enough, which means you have to think a lot in performing your kochigari, your ochigari, your uchimata, your soinagi. You don't have the perception of when to doing your technique. It's very mechanical. It's not that fluid as it should be, and by not being fluid, you're wasting a lot of energy as an attempt to perform these techniques during the randori. By the way, this is the reason why people that do, for example, triathlons, that runs a lot, still have problems during the randori, during the specific grappling activity. It's because they don't have the movement efficiency to perform these techniques effortlessly. So you need to perform a little bit more of uchikomi. You need to do a lot of more drilling in order to make these techniques as smooth as possible. The second thing is you maybe have an automation of these techniques, but you don't have a clear idea of what you're doing, of how to reach the ippon. So during the grip fighting, during the movements, you're doing a lot of random stuff that will waste your energy, and so you will get out of your gas tank. Okay, you are doing a lot of random movements. You go to right, you go to left, you go backwards, you go towards your opponent, and you don't really have an idea how to finish your action. So your problem is not that much about automation. Your problem is about how to arrive to the ippon, how to arrive to the final throw. The third reason is you might have an idea of what to do in order to achieve the result, but you cannot really you don't really know when to push and when to rest, because you cannot go 100% all the time in randori. You have to know when you can actually relax a little bit and when you need to push, because the point is near. You are near towards performing the final ippon. So you gotta know when you can relax, when you can just move, keep up the pace, and then you should know when actually push, go harder, and search for the point. Okay, because if you go 100% all the time, you will not be able to sustain the rhythm of the Randori. So these were the two initial reasons, which were poor efficiency and simply poor cardio. The third reason is a little bit more slicky because I don't really see anyone talking about that in the strength and conditioning realm, not even in the grappling realm, which is a poor lifestyle. By poor lifestyle, I mean you are either living like you're living la vida loca, which means you are not sleeping, you are drinking alcohol like every day, and you are partying until 4 a.m. and then you show up to training underslept, underfed, and with a lot of alcohol in your body. You of course are going to perform bad and you will feel very bad. So there are a lot of different things that you should look for in your lifestyle that will maybe going to interfere with your training. First of all, which is I believe the most important, is your sleep. So you're not sleeping enough hours, or you're having bad sleep during the night, you are not going to recover from the hard sessions that you've done during the week, and so you will not be able to perform at your best during your training. So even if you're conditioned, even if you have a good technical efficiency, if you are overworked, if you're fatigued, if you're not under recovered, you will have shit cardio during your Randori. So pay attention also to that. The second factor of lifestyle, the lifestyle realm, is nutrition. So let's say you're weight cutting, so you're not eating enough, you are not giving your body enough fluids, you will not have the energy to perform at your best during your training. But also eating too much shit food can actually reduce the amount of energy that you can use during training. You're not eating maybe enough carbs, which means that you don't have enough fuel to be able to push yourself during the Randori. You don't have enough protein, which means that your body cannot rebuild itself during the night, and so you will not be able to push yourself during training. So pay attention also to your nutrition, and in fact I would tell you to be sufficiently hydrated, to eat enough carbs and eat enough protein. By eating enough, I mean 1.5 grams of protein per kilogram of your body weight, and for carbs I would say eat at least I believe it's 5 to 6 grams of carbs per kilogram of your body weight minimum. This is minimum, so which means eat some pasta, eat some rice for lunch, so that in the evening training you will be able to perform at your best. And even before your evening training, try to eat at least some sugary and some carbs that will give you energy for the later session. The third thing, which is something that people not really talk about but really gets in the way of your training, is life stressors. If you're working a lot, if you have problems with your girlfriend or your boyfriend, or you have family problems, all that stuff gets in the way of training, because your mind will be put away from what you need to do in that moment, and you will start to think about all the life stress that you have in your personal life. I saw that on one of my partners. He is a butcher, and he's working from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. He's doing like 10 to 12 hour shifts, something really crazy, and he comes to training completely wrecked. His cardio is shit, but not because he's not that much conditioned, all right? But he is also overworked. He is doing a lot of stuff during his day that makes him tired for his evening training. And I get it, we all need to work, we need to make money, we need to actually do shit for living. I see also that on myself. I work as a physical therapist. I sometimes do even 9 to 10 hours of work a day, and after finishing work I go straight up to my judo training, and sometimes I feel like shit, not because I'm badly conditioned or because I've eaten bad, but because my life doesn't allow me to perform at best, which is, by the way, some things you cannot do much about it, okay? We need to work, we need to make money, but try to also be careful about what is going on in your life and try to reduce your stress as much as you possibly can, because if judo and physical training is your priority, you need to minimize all the stuff that are going to interfere with that as much as you possibly can. So we have covered poor cardio, poor technical efficiency, and poor lifestyle. We're going to talk about now the fourth stuff, which is load management. So let's say that you have a good lifestyle, you have a good technical efficiency, you have a good conditioning, you still feel tired. Probably you have bad load management, so you're likely doing too much. So if you're training every day until your death, you are likely doing too much. Okay, if you feel tired and you're training every day or multiple times a day, it means that you're not allocating the stress properly. The fact is that training is a stressor to the body, which means that training is something that make you bad in the short term at your sport, and in the long term it will make you better. But if you compress too much training in too short period of time without adequate recovery, you are going to burn yourself out, and it could lead to eventually an injury or quitting everything because you hate your sport. So my advice would be able to manage the load during the week, not only during the training, but during the week. Try to alternate between high stress days to low stress days. If on Monday you have crushed yourself in your training, on the next day try to do something more lighter. Try to work maybe on the robustness of your upper body, working on hypertrophy, or the next day maybe do just some very very light zone 2 cardio. You don't need to crush and kill yourself every day, because if you're killing yourself every day, you won't be able to have the energy to actually push yourself in training and drive the adaptation that you need in order to become better. What you need to understand, and I get that it's hard to understand for a judoka, which usually have a culture of you gotta do more, you gotta work hard, you gotta kill yourself in training, which is not often true. I find that true of myself. You don't need to kill yourself in training in order to get better. It's usually the other way around. You need to push hard but smartly. And I get that this is a lot of information, and it's a lot to understand which one of these four factors is the main driver of you feeling tired and gassed out in your training. So most of the time is multiple factors that are going to increase your fatigue and increase your sense of tiredness. So if you need some help to improve your performance, feeling less tired doing your judo and expressing your best self in this martial art, you can book a one-on-one call with me. Hit me a DM on Instagram or write me down a comment, and I will be happy to help you. Thank you for watching. Remember to aim upward as always.